To learn more about Jerusalem's transition into a Christian city, I visited the Church of St. Peter in Gallicantu, a beautiful church on the eastern slope of Mount Zion, commemorating Peter's denial of Jesus. Here, Danny showed me an incredible model of Jerusalem I had never seen before.
So, Danny, we're here at, it looks like another model of Jerusalem, similar to what we saw from the Second Temple period, but there are some obvious differences here. What are we looking at?
This is Jerusalem when it's all Christianized.
Okay, and so we're seeing a number of very prominent buildings.
Yes.
And also seeing a very large empty space.
Empty space there.
Yeah,
Yes.
so what's going on
But wait,
here?
first, if we want to do this properly in a chronological order, first Jerusalem as Jesus knew it, as we saw it in the model by the Israel Museum,
Right.
was razed to the ground by the Romans. And then the Romans rebuilt the city, but as a pagan city. They called it Ilia Capitolina. They had several pagan temples scattered around the city. They redesigned the northern part, the area of Damascus Gate.
Okay.
Had an inner courtyard and two main streets coming out of it. The model is showing it very well. And in the northern part, they also made a big triumphal arch, probably to mark the victory against the Jews, both against the first rebellion and against the second rebellion, the Bar Kokhba rebellion. We're not even sure if the city was walled. The 10th Legion was set here for 300 years just to make sure those Jews who dared rebel against us, against the Romans, won't even think of rebelling again or taking possessions in Jerusalem. The Jews were banned from even getting close to the city at that time. But then, in the 4th century, the same Romans who put Jesus to death turned him into God. That's the Christianization of the whole Roman Empire. And of course, Jerusalem is where major events relating to the divinity of Jesus took place.
Right.
Now the Christianized Roman world is so interested in it. And what could be more important than the place where he was crucified, died, buried, and came back from the dead?
Right.
Where is it? In the 4th century, it is identified right there. According to a legend, the Empress Helena comes to Jerusalem and she's shown the place. She makes a discovery of a remnant of the cross. She's convinced this is it. And then a giant church is built over it. A combination of a basilica and a rotunda, which marks, again, the place of the crucifixion, the
Right.
death, the burial, and the resurrection. The most important part. And from that point on, the city is identified and sanctified in different places. So if you were to visit Jerusalem in the 7th century, you would see about 50 churches and monasteries in and around the city. But the city was all Christianized.
Wow.
And Jews were still forbidden, by the way. The Jews up to the 5th century were not allowed to visit Jerusalem. And when it was changed, it was only one day of the year, Tisha B'Av, the day that their temple was destroyed. And notice how their temple is left in ruins for the Byzantine period.
I was going to ask about that. It's a big empty space.
Big empty space
Yeah.
that is left deliberately in ruins because from a theological Christian point of view, its destruction is proof of the right faith of following Jesus.
And during this time, only on the 9th of Av could Jews visit.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it was to humiliate them. Okay? You can only come here to weep and mourn over
Right.
the loss of your temple. It will change with the Muslim takeover. Once the Muslim conquered the city, they either kick out the Christians or impose heavy taxes, and
Right.
the economy is on decline. So what do? Abdel Malik invites 70 Jewish families from Tiberias to settle here so there'll be some economy. So actually, in the beginning, the Muslims encouraged Jews to settle here, but that also changed later.
Okay.